Hi, welcome to this episode of Industry Voice. Today I have Brian Del Savio on the show today. How are you, Brian?
Doing well. Thanks for having me, Jeff.
So I met Brian over at ITC Vegas at InsurTech Connect event, and I invited him onto the podcast. And he is in a segment of the insurance industry that I don't usually talk about since we're pretty heavy here in the PNC world. So I got to bring Brian on and tell us the wonderful things that's happening in his side of the world. Brian, can you give our audience a little bit of introduction about who you are, your journey, got how you got into insurance, and the things that you do over there?
Sure, absolutely. Thanks, Jeff. Well, my name is Brian Del Savio. I'm Vice President of Sales at a company called New Benefits, and New Benefits is headquartered in Dallas, Texas, although we do business in all 50 states. And New Benefits has been in business for 34 years now, since 1990. And then as for me, I've been with New Benefits for 10 years, or roughly 10 years. Before that, I was in the financial advising side of things with Guardian Life, focusing a lot on life insurance, disability insurance, obviously financial planning as well. And I actually got into this side of the business because I found out that a ton of my clients that I was working with, a lot of the families, they had very good incomes. However, that a lot of them had a lot of debt. So as I started digging deeper during the fact finding, I found out that a lot of them had medical debt and uncovered out-of-pocket medical expenses that was really a burden on them and their family, both financially and also from a personal standpoint with their relationships and everything else. So I actually found the benefits on a trip to Dallas. I was there for a Guardian meeting and just kind of found them online as I was researching, and they happened to be down the road. So I walked in the front door and started a conversation. I really was all about what their mission is. And New Benefits' mission is basically save Americans millions of dollars on their out-of-pocket health and lifestyle expenses. So we all have our stories, but that's how I got into this side of things. So yeah, just happy to be here.
So, for those audience who are in insurance but don't know about your segment of the insurance world, can you tell us how big that world is and like what exactly do you guys do?
Yeah, for sure. Well, it's a niche kind of segment of the benefits world, if you will. So we focus specifically on non-insured benefits. So all the benefits that are out there that are not insurance, but can enhance whatever core insurance offerings you are providing to your clients, essentially. So you may hear these benefits called things like point solutions. You may hear them called like enhanced benefits, but that's the entire space that we live in. So all benefits that are not insurance, but are here to basically enhance any core benefit offerings, filling gaps, and help those employees and members save additional money on their out-of-pocket expenses, and also give them additional resources that they really need throughout the year. In terms of the size, though, I say it's a niche kind of segment, but New Benefits, we have millions of members that we service across the country. We have about 4,000 marketer partners, and one of those marketer partners could be like a national consulting firm. So it's still a pretty big part of the market. Um, However, it's kind of a uniquely kind of focused part of the market that sometimes isn't talked about as much as many may think it would be. So yeah, that's kind of a little bit more about what we do and kind of the segment of the market that we're in.
And what did you see that you got everything changed this year? I feel like at ITC, there was a lot of new vendors. So let's go back a little bit and talk about ITC, and then there's a segment I want to lead you into. We saw a lot of tech, we saw a lot of AIs, and what do you think your industry is heading towards with all the things that are in short tech that's talked about in the last 5 to 6 years?
Yeah, for sure. So just to give the audience a kind of an idea, I know I mentioned non-insured benefits, enhanced benefits, but what is that actually? So what does that look like? So a lot of these solutions would be like discount programs for like discount vision, discount health programs, virtual healthcare, obviously, and a lot of trends there, especially from the tech side of things, like wearable devices and virtual primary care and things like that that are really taking off at a rapid pace. So yeah, mental health benefits, virtual primary care, advocacy and transparency programs. So again, getting access to healthcare data and being able to put the consumers back in power of finding the most cost-effective and quality doctors. So just so many different areas. New benefits has 40 different vendors at any given time in our wholesale portfolio, and then kind of you dive deeper inside of all those vendors, and there's a lot of different innovation happening with inside each of those vendors and benefit segments. Um, However, just overall speaking, and our side of things, one of the biggest problems when it comes to non-insured benefits and these point solutions is typically utilization and the employee experience. So a lot of the technology that we're seeing is, for example, new benefits. We're big on making sure that those employees have access to, even if they have access to 4, 5, 6, 7 different point solutions um, through their group or association, they can access all those benefits through one tech platform. So one innovative mobile app and member portal where those members can just sign in and through an SDK or SSO, just access all their benefits in one place. And then we've also gone a step
Can you
further.
explain, can you explain the sign on the acronyms?
Sorry, yeah. So just single sign-on is what we use for most of our benefits. We just use a single sign-on. The SDK side of things, sometimes it's where you log into a mobile app, and for example, Teladoc is one of our vendors. If you log into Teladoc, and or log into our mobile app and click on Teladoc, you're actually going to the Teladoc mobile app without ever leaving the new benefits platform, if that makes sense. So yeah, just I think the employee experience is getting much better than it used to be. I feel like that's the biggest problem when it comes to non-insured benefits. So there's a lot of technology there. And I was going to mention also being able to aggregate information into a mobile app and member portal on even the other benefits that the employees have access to. So a lot of times employees are going to forget, even what medical plan they're on, what's their deductible, or depending on what plan they're on, and things like that. So we can actually load in that information into a single access point mobile app where they can access the information on their core medical insurance, even the P&C insurance, if anything that's going there for anything like that, dental, vision insurance, HSA, all that stuff can be added into one streamlined membership experience, which really helps the employees understand and remember what they actually have access to, and then how to use it throughout the year to maximize those programs.
So in your industry, what do you think is the biggest challenge that's coming up in turning the over to more connectivities and fixing the unstructured data? Thank you for all your support to our channel. Here is a quick word from our sponsor. Please click on the link below in the comment section to sign up for a demo with Track AI.
What if your insurance sales conversations could work harder for you? Meet Track, your AI-powered conversation intelligence partner. Track automatically captures and analyzes every customer interaction, providing instant call summaries, risk analysis, and AI-driven coaching insights. Say goodbye to manual note-taking and hello to more selling time. Track handles the admin work while you handle the revenue. Fully integrated with your favorite platforms. Plus, get custom AI analysis tailored to your unique business needs. Transform your sales team's performance with Track. Visit track.ai today.
Click the link in the description below to schedule a demo with Track today.
So one of the biggest problems is just, I think, if you look at just like the telemedicine, because a lot of people understand telemedicine, right? I remember, maybe not too long ago, 5, 6, 7 years ago, definitely before COVID, I would talk to people about, telemedicine vendors, and oftentimes I would still get the response of like, how is that? Or that's not going to work, or what is this? So the biggest thing is just how fast things change in this industry, and being able to stay on top of that, to be able to make sure that, you're providing the best benefits and the best access to those benefits for the employees and their families. So like now you look at it, and today, like just with new benefits alone, we have 4 different telemedicine vendors inside of our platform. So there's different options for consultants to choose from. But then you take it a step further, and there's all different types of telemedicine now as well. So like the virtual primary care piece of things, as I mentioned, all the technology going into, being able to do like at-home lab testing and other things like that. And I feel like that's where things are changing so rapidly. So it's just a matter of making sure that you're either doing it yourself, which is very hard because I know the consultants I work with are focusing more on their primary insurance products and things like that, or leaning on a wholesaler and aggregator and like New Benefits, who's solely dedicated to staying on top of these trends. For example, we just added 3 different vendors within the last couple of months here, like a Galileo, like another virtual primary care benefit, a Kind Body, which is a fertility benefit, and a benefit called Manifest RX, which is a PEPM benefit that gives employees and members access to $0 generic prescriptions throughout the year. So I think it's just a matter of partnering with somebody who's been doing this for a long time and can understand and stay on top of where those trends are going. And like I said, there's a million different things inside of each benefit category as well that are changing, but it's that's the overall picture.
So who are some of your biggest partners you guys work with?
I mean, as far as like size-wise goes, New Benefits is contracted with roughly 75% of the top 100 brokerage firms in the country. So obviously like Marsh & McLennan, Gallagher, Hub, and I can go on and on. But so those are some of the largest clients we have, as well as a lot of large associations as well, because the association market is oftentimes overlooked. And we have some really unique programs that have been built specifically for associations, and even to the point where the rates are so discounted that a lot of associations are able to build in some of our benefits into their association dues as well. So we have some very large associations with tens of thousands or 100,000 more members sometimes that are accessing our benefits as well. So many people may not have heard of New Benefits, although we're trying to get our brand out there a little bit more nowadays. But that's because everything in the market is white labeled. So like the MMA consumerism card, Hub Telehealth card, things like that. Everything is white labeled in the marketplace to our broker partners and associations.
That makes sense. Insurance branding and insurance marketing is not easy. It's one of the most boring things, right? To brand insurance companies. A little bit different than Mr. B's branding his chocolate bars.
Yeah.
I'm curious, like, being in sales for New Benefit, what are you guys doing to brand your company and doing the marketing side?
Yeah, so there's a couple different areas of that. Number one is obviously just the brand recognition. Like you said, it's a little bit boring, but for the brokerage firms that are going out there and marketing it to their clients, branding everything to their name, we want them to be the heroes. We're really more so the administrator, the aggregator, the innovator behind the scenes and supporting the different consultants and brokers out in the field. So that's one thing we do with it. At least they have brand recognition with their clients. So we brand everything. In other words, marketing materials, proposals, things like that to the brokerage firm. But then I think another important piece of the puzzle is being able to brand the entire employee experience to the employer group. Because, to your point, the employee doesn't really care if it's XYZ insurance company per se, most likely. However, what we do is we have our own on-site print center here at New Benefits, which we partner with Xerox way back in the day when we started aggregating multiple different benefits into our membership experience, because we found out real quick we need to figure out a way to be able to print these membership guides and cards in a way that's very fast, but also can say, okay, Jeff is one member in a group. He has, this, that, and the other thing for the benefits, and then his colleague has these other benefits. Oh, and Jeff's located in this state. We need to put those disclosures in there. So we actually have a proprietary print process here at New Benefits, an entire operation dedicated to print. It's basically an on-demand variable print setup where we can spit a file through our print system of 100,000 members located in all 50 states with different members or with different benefits, and it'll just start spitting out those booklets and cards. But where I was getting at is you got to hit the members and put the information in front of the members and employees in multiple different ways, I feel like, and that's part of the branding. So what we do is even a group that may have 5 employees, right, or 10 employees, we will still include in what we do. We will print booklets and cards branded to the group if that's the request. We will also send a welcome email. We will also brand mobile app and member portal for that group as well. So of all sizes. So now the employees, think about it, they're going to get a welcome email. They'll see the brand on their employer. They're going to get membership kit in the mail. and through the window, through that 5x8 envelope, they'll see their employer's name on there. It's like, oh, I better open this. They'll look at it there. And then everything is encouraging that employee, like we talked about earlier, to go ahead and download the mobile app, which the vast majority of employers are doing nowadays. Everybody's on their phone, or access the benefits through a laptop or tablet on their member portal. But again, the entire employee experience is branded to the employer, and the employees can access all their benefits in one place. So you're kind of getting the branding side of it, and then you're getting the ease of access, which I feel like is really helping with utilization. And then even if you look past that, so now say the members signed up for the benefits, now it's a matter of using technology as well, by the way, to automatically send email reminders, possibly text messages, things like that. Okay, he's active for the benefits, but he hasn't downloaded the mobile app yet, and get them on those reminders. You kind of walk them through the process and the journey. So get them to download the app. And then step two, well, you have telemedicine in your package. Well, it's probably a good idea. We see higher utilization when you actually complete your medical history before you're actually sick. So let's put that algorithm in there and get you to complete the medical history. So it's kind of a long answer, sorry, but it's kind of it's part of the whole journey, is the branding to the consulting firm, then to the employer group, and then using technology to move that employee through that process to maximize the use of the benefits.
Where do you see the industry going in the next 5 years? We're in the next 3 years.
Yeah, so I mean, lately, and where things are going right now really is, I think going into COVID and I guess coming out of it, or however you want to say that, it was like employees were trying to really see and ask, like, see what their employer will do for them and their families. It was almost more of a personal kind of level with their benefits, I felt like. So what's happened is there's been a big change and a big push in benefits like fertility. I mean, what bigger thing to help someone start a family, right? Or help them through that process that's going to show loyalty to that employee and their work-life integration. And then other work-life integration benefits, like in the advocacy side of things, like caregiver concierge programs. So benefits that can say, like, all right, well, now you have an employee, they may have young children at home, maybe a young child with, special needs. Possibly they also have aging adults. Maybe they're sandwich caregivers. Their spouse might be working from home. Then they got, their own job that they're trying to do as well. So benefits like caregiver concierge that can really hold the hand of those employees and help with their work-life integration and walk them through that process and provide resources are very popular. And I think that's going to continue for a while. And then, it kind of continues down the line. Mental health benefits are the number one benefit that I get requested for pretty much on a daily basis. So that's a good trend because, I mean, there used to be such a stigma around mental health, and I'm finding that a lot more employers are now being more proactive about mental health. They're understanding the impact it has on their business, but also, more importantly, just on the individuals and employees that are working for them and what impact that's having on them and their families. So I think it's more of this, we used to call it work-life balance. I call it work-life integration because it's really kind of like one thing nowadays. And, really pinpointing those solutions for each group that makes the most sense based on their culture and company surveys and things like that. But again, it's going to be those advocacy, transparency, resource benefits, mental health benefits that I think is going to be the biggest push, as well as on the health side of things, like I mentioned, where, more of the virtual primary care and chronic care type benefits that can be, a lot of this now can be handled with technology virtually and much more efficiently than it used to be. So I think that's going to continue to grow as well.
Can you talk a little bit more about the mental health, like how you guys are getting the requests on this? This is like a fascinating subject to me and also something close to my heart.
Yeah, for sure. So what I always say is, what I found through my experience is that mental health is not a one size fits all solution. And I don't want to talk badly about any other, but sometimes there's like a single vendor and they do what they do. But you may have, just think about an employer group in general or an association. There's going to be all different age demographics in terms of who's comfortable maybe having a phone call, having a virtual visit, who wants to go see somebody in person, right? And you're going to have all different types of things going on inside that company, different needs as well. So what I typically do is, first of all, just in general, it's all about not just implementing these point solutions, kind of one off, and then, just being reactive about it. It's more being proactive, understanding what the needs are of the employees of the company. Maybe that's through company surveys and other things as well, understanding the company culture as well. And then it's a matter of crafting a benefit package, a well-rounded benefit package, again, where those employees can access these resources in one place so they know where to access them, granted to their employer. It doesn't change year to year because it's separate from the medical plan or any other insurance. And then specifically to mental health, to answer your question, so you may have things like what I call is kind of the highest level mental health. So it could be where you give the employees access to therapists and psychiatrists, possibly at $0, as many times as necessary throughout the year. Sometimes, the consultant will put a $25 visit fee on there, something either very low, so there's no barrier to entry, or $0 throughout the year. So now the employee and their family, including adolescents, can access therapists and psychiatrists virtually for little to no cost, as many times as necessary. And that's one of the other problems is oftentimes mental health benefits or EAP programs will have like a 3-visit max. And you can call on 3 times. You may speak to 3 different people, by the way, so you got to start all over again. And it's really hard to get anything accomplished. Not saying that those programs don't serve a purpose. They definitely do. But the program I'm talking about is more so you can actually pick and choose your therapist or psychiatrist from the network. You can schedule follow-up calls with the same therapist or psychiatrist, and you can really build on those previous conversations, and you can have as many sessions as you would like. And those calls are typically scheduled within 72 business hours, so it's a much quicker turnaround than the traditional in-person visits. Unfortunately, those can be weeks or months before you can see a therapist or psychiatrist. And those calls and video conferences can be scheduled between 7 a.m. and 9 p.m. So they can be done before work or after work, maybe after the kids go to bed, things like that. So, but then there's also lower levels. I don't call them lower levels, but they're more filling in other gaps as well. Because you may have an employee that just doesn't feel comfortable speaking to a therapist or psychiatrist, or maybe they don't need to, right? So there's different levels to it as well. So now you can start filling in those gaps with other benefits. There's a really unique vendor called Kindly Human out there, which is a non-clinical approach to mental health. So they'll actually, based on the intake, they'll actually match up employees with peer listeners and professionals, highly trained professionals that have maybe gone through similar life experiences, are located in similar parts of the country. And it's more of a proactive way to start a conversation and get some help and resources without maybe even having to speak to a therapist or psychiatrist as well.
How do we get around the hours and days of waiting for talking to someone?
Yeah. So like I said, for the virtual mental health benefits, typically the turnaround time is within 72 business hours. Most time, like when I go in there, if I look, most of the time you'll be able to schedule a call with somebody at least the next day, typically. So that's still pretty quick. However, I agree that, I totally agree that that's why part of the package, you may want to have like an EAP program, a 24/7 EAP program, where someone could definitely call in, crisis hotline, things of that nature, where that's part of it as well, the timing, right? Because 1 day, 2 day, 3 days might not be quick enough for somebody. So you want to make sure that in addition to the multiple options and ways for the employees to get help, you also want to make sure that there's different timing of that as well. So that goes everywhere from scheduling appointments, a couple days out possibly, all the way down to I need to speak to somebody now. So we can build all that into one package essentially.
Is those people who are speaking, right, with the people who are struggling with mental health, are they also available in other languages like Chinese, Korean, Spanish?
Yes.
Russians?
Yep,
we have a lot of immigrants in this country, right?
Yes. Yep, they are. So as far as our standard materials go, like just speaking about new benefits, we have like our mobile app, all of our technology would be English and Spanish, as well as our membership kits and any hard copy materials. But then when you look at the specific vendors, for example, like these telemedicine vendors, they will have either vendor, either psychiatrists or counselors or physicians available that do speak those languages, or if needed, they will have translation services available for each of those languages as well, if necessary, if that's the case.
And I think with the AI that's coming, there's so much translation more available easily.
Yep, absolutely. And another piece of the puzzle, by the way, for the mental health is also sometimes people think like, oh, I need to have like a, we often think about like benefits in terms of like, all right, well, now I'm talking about mental health and now I'm talking about this other benefit. But something you can do when you package these benefits together is you could also include like fitness and other types of programs included in the mental health package because, obviously mental health and oftentimes exercise go hand in hand as well for many people. So you could also think about that based on different groups and integrate like a fitness program into a mental health package as well.
Interesting. I have learned a lot today. Usually I try to be an expert when in the niche I'm interviewing on, but I am not. So, Brian, you educated me a lot today on this little world that I don't understand. I don't know. And I hope our listeners also did a lot of learning today through this episode. I'm going to have you on probably a year from now and have you come back from now. What are some of the goals you have for yourself and also for your company the next 12 months since you lead the sales division over there?
Yeah, for sure. Well, I think a lot of it is, new benefits. If you look at our history, we did a lot of work with individuals. We've always worked through our marketer partners, so we don't really sell anything directly, especially in the employer space, things like that. But I think it's a matter of understanding there's a lot of different areas out there that maybe are not as or maybe need our benefits more than other areas now. In other words, they haven't been impacted as much just yet. So I think there's a ton of like affinity groups and associations that really desperately those members that are part of those associations need access to our benefits. So what we're doing right now and what I'm doing is focusing a little bit more on figuring out what those types of associations are and those industries and trying to expand out further back into that side of things as well. And then also I would say just with new benefits, just overall speaking, I really feel like this year, every year we're innovating and we're adding additional solutions. But there are some more that are on the horizon that probably shouldn't talk about just yet, but I think are going to be really impactful in 2025 and beyond. Because if you look back now at these last few vendors we just added, we added a cancer navigation benefit, we added another fertility benefit, we added the pharmacy benefit, an additional pharmacy benefit for $0 generics. I mean, just some really benefits that I'm just really excited about. And then just kind of seeing where things are 2025, which I think is there's just so much to talk about, but we'll talk about it next time.
Sounds good. Well, Brian, I really appreciate you coming on the show today. And whenever I think our audience can learn a little bit more about the benefit world, I want to make sure that they go follow you. So I'm going to go get you an intake form. And then so this way that they can follow you on LinkedIn and also your websites.
Sure. And one other thing for the PNC advisor, I know there's a lot of PNC folks listening. I know I spoke a lot today about the employer group space and associations, things like that. But also I just want to quickly mention that from a technology side of things as well, we do have what's called we call it the NB Marketplace, which is basically a digital marketplace, kind of like an Amazon for benefits. And I do work with a lot of PNC consultants where you can come to new benefits and basically put together a white label digital marketplace that your clients can go to access things like pet insurance, ID theft protection, and legal, and other solutions like that, financial wellness, that may kind of piggyback well with what you were doing for your core benefits for those clients as well. And the employees or members can go on this marketplace and simply check out via debit or credit card. So just wanted to kind of throw that in there for the PNC folks as well.
That's a great one to know. So thank you, Brian, and thank you for joining us.
Thanks, Jeff. I appreciate it. Have a great day.